Okay, so take two. Looks like there was some kind of recording issue with the audio the first time around, so that really sucks. But it's cool. Get to analyze everything all over again. First things first, I'd like to let everybody know that I'm going to be starting another mentoring group, probably the first week of March at this point. We're supposed to start in February, but things got delayed. So if you know anybody that might be interested in joining the mentoring program, you can give them my contact information. You've all got it already. And that's it. So other than that, let's count down to what I think is going to be fireworks this week. Looking at the charts, we've been watching the last couple of weeks of this, this rally that's been going on that's really fueled by a lot of hot air of, trade talks and trade deals and things that are just really not not worth this kind of rally so far. This is just green, 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 green. This is totally being full, pumped at this point. And I think it's going to be a classic, sell the news event when it actually comes out. We're almost there, and we have no higher lows. This is wobbly. It's on one leg. This thing is going to collapse. Is it going to, take out the lows? We'll have to wait and see. But a serious sell-off, 300 to 400 ES points, very, very near coming now. I would say beginning this week, I would think. Do we have a little bit more room to blow off the top and get into the supply? Yes, we do. We're sitting in, the wall back here on the daily chart. The supply is up a little bit higher up. This is all one move off the recent lows. That needs to get back tested. That's the way markets work. They don't move in one direction. When it's moving in one direction for a really long time, something's up. And I'm saying something is up big time. Really smart trade this week, which I'm going to start looking into tomorrow, is puts at this point on the equities, on the SPYs, on the diamonds, on the Qs. Buying some puts over here for, expiration, I would say, end of March type of thing is pretty smart trade at this point. I would think it looks like something, especially if we pop up in the morning tomorrow, or early Monday, Tuesday into this range, pull back down into 2,600 looks like the first spot I would be thinking that we should be able to get to. The convergence over here on the daily chart of the Bollinger Bands and the 50 moving average inside the demand zone that's sitting right at 2,600, which would be, it looks like about a 50% fib retracement off the bottom. Let's see. Let's take a look. Yeah, so 2547 is the 50 fib. So somewhere 2,600 looks like the 38.2. That's just nothing. That's just easy to get to at that point. So we're talking about, 2,800 down to 28 something. That's 200 plus points easily. I think we would see on a pullback coming over here. So definitely something I'm going to be looking at starting tomorrow for potential, puts coming up over here. Get rid of this. All right, so keep that in mind. But what I'm thinking here, early in the week, a little more upside here, and then we're going to hit the supply, and we're just going to start rolling over. So, we're in an uptrend still on the lower time frames, and therefore we can still buy demand zones over here, into pullbacks into new highs. But once we hit that higher time frame supply, this level up there on the daily and the weekly level, forget about any of these demand zones over here. They're just going to get sliced right through. Right? These are join the trend zones over here. Join the current. Once we've hit that higher time frame, this shit won't stop price on the way back down. And therefore, once we get up there, you want to start selling the lower highs immediately and look for a pullback minimum of 2,600, probably more like 25 on the daily. It looks like even potentially a zone that I've marked off over here, closer to 2,500. This one, Doji. Okay, this one is almost a given, so it's probably something like up into here. This thing will just base a little bit, will drop, and then we'll back test it. It'll only end up over here someplace. And that's what we're going to see here, a big sell-off coming out of here. The fact that there's no higher lows, there's not a red candle to be found on the weekly chart in weeks. I mean, that's just nonsense. Even on the daily chart, if you look carefully, how many big down days of red were there? 1, 2, 3, 4 since December. I mean, is that normal? You know, ridiculous, right? So it's time for a pullback, okay? Bottom line is leaning short once we hit here. That's what it comes down to. Thinking of using puts to do it for a bigger trade, okay? Let's take a look at the levels down over here. Again, we can expect a little bit more upside potential, and therefore there are some demand zones that you could still use, you know, to join this long up there, up to the, you know, another whatever it is, 20 and change, depending on how the pullback comes, right? These are still uptrends, and you want to join, that's fine, but once we hit that supply, forget about any of this garbage. Don't even think that those levels are going to hold, okay? They're not. Okay, next. That's ES. Let's go look at the NASI. Weekly supply, again, same idea, all one move off the bottom, looking for a pullback. Okay, and this one looks to be, I would say, 6,500 to 6,400, this level over here someplace. You know, we could see that the 200 average over here has been holding the highs. We have a little more room, sure, but we're coming into some wicked supply up here. You know, monthly supply zone gets touched over here. So this is going to push up a little bit more, and then we're going to hit that zone, and we're going to just roll over. You know, the NASI, when it starts selling off, sells off really fast. So, you know, I'm thinking, again, same idea, like somewhere around over here for the NASDAQ on the way back down. And that's like 500 to 600 NASDAQ points down. So something really, really big. Okay? It looks like the beginning is coming. It's here. That's about as far as it can go. Again, there's still a little bit more room up there to the top. You can see it. But once we get into that higher time frame supply, forget about any of these demand zones. They're all going to be crap. Okay? You have to start selling the supply. You know, first higher lows up there on 15-minute charts is the beginning of something massive. Okay? So leaning short this week. Okay, totally. Crude. All right, we come into crude with an interesting looking weekly little flag going on over here. We've been getting, you know, bearish news on inventories every week for the last couple of weeks, and crude is just shrugging them off like it didn't matter. Looks like we're back up to the top. We've had a higher low. Sort of tells me they want to get a little bit higher over here. Right? And they're not done with this little rally. We're going to see a rally base. I think we're actually going to see a rally. The next level looks to be like 58-ish or so, where crude may run into trouble. So currently the longs are still good. You know, the trend looking like it's about to continue over here for an upside, you know, into the upside over here where we take out this high. We're going to continue it, create this uptrend going again, and then, you know, there's this whole 58-ish to 59-ish level over here. I'll start to show it to you on some of the other time frames, but that's about as far as we're going to go, I think, before we get a bigger pullback. So for now, it's longs again into 50. I call it 58 from where we are. It's a wall again. There's no supply here. You see this? Okay, so this is a breakout to the upside. Crude longs, pullbacks into demand on little time frames are longs. Aiming for at least 58 plus. Okay, what happens after that we'll figure out later. But for now, it's just they want, for some reason, they're pushing this thing. They're buying it, and they want it back to that level. And it's going to get there. It looks like at this point. It should have collapsed already. It hasn't. It went and you know, after last week's bearish twins, went back the other way and just totally erased it. So therefore, pullback was just a little bit of a pullback. Got into some demand. And that's it. Now we're ready to take out the highs. So we can't argue with the chart. Chart's telling you crude wants to rally, so we need to be long at this point. Okay. Let's go take a look at the 60 and so. There's our 60 chart. There's a little trend line breakout we got going on over there. Looks like we had a nice little V bottom, by the way, over here, right? Boom. So any little small pullback over here is probably a good buy around over here. Look for this level to hold and push us up into the 58, 59 level. Let's zoom out a little bit and take a look at what the levels above us are looking like. Yeah, so it's a 57.50 level and a 58, 58 and 50 level right up here. So that's where we're going. So any pullback over here is a good buy at this point. I think we're still pushing up, showing strength. We're looking for a long with a a target up here. Okay. I'll go back and make a comment about just the equities one more time. Something I forgot to mention before when we were looking at the higher time frame charts. So I talk a lot about V bottom and V tops, right? So basically what we're looking at over here is the V bottom just on a weekly level. Right? And the rules are you sell the top of the V, you look for a chance, of a pullback into a level somewhere up that will create potentially the higher low for the next leg up. But we don't know about this part yet. But we do know that this part is coming, the sell-off. We're at the top of the V, right? So we're going to get up into the supply zone, top of the V. We're going to look for the pullback. We have to sell this because this is a daily level. This is a weekly level. So it's not just a 15-minute chart or a 60-minute chart where the way back down to create a higher low might not be worth your trade. This is worth the trade. First of all, it's with the trend, the short side at this point, right? I mean, this is still, right? And therefore, we're looking at this could do the thing. We might make a new low for all we know. I have no idea if this level is going to hold or not. I know we're going to reach it, but I don't know if we're going to break it or not. There's no way to know. I'm pushing down out of the top. This is huge. This is 300 ES points. Okay, so you're talking about serious money. 15 grand a contract. Craziness, right? So talking about serious money here. Okay, so get ready. Same idea with the NASI. We're looking at this V bottom over here on the weekly levels, right? So same idea. You want to sell that level. Right, here's the V. Pull back. That's what's coming. So it's going to get real interesting. Okay. Let's move on to gold. Gold longs are looking really good with one small caveat. Okay. We've been talking about long gold, and it's doing really well. Keeps pulling back into this demand over here. It actually looks like we're breaking out of the bull flag over here. You see it? This candle on Friday. Looks like we gets us up above the flag on the weekly level. All right, we got nice bullish twins after potentially selling off and breaking down. Tweezer bottoms looks really nice. Chance for the pop out. All right, and the caveat is it must, with a capital M, must break this level this week. Cannot start selling off out of here again, because if it does, let me show you what's going to happen. All right, so longs are good. You can keep buying the pullbacks until this level will be okay. Okay, if it just drops in here, we're still okay. Once we get up into this zone, if it starts selling off out of here and it does not take out the highs, we're screwed, because what's coming is Batman. All the way back down to here. That's not what we're looking for, right? It's not going to be a happy camper if that happens. So watch very careful. The only thing that can stop this is a double top. This double top is disastrous only because if it does happen, there's no more demand in here. We've used it up multiple times, and then we're unable to break the supply. That means that we're going to shoot through this level, and then there's no more demand. So where the fucking demand is all the way down here. Huge pocket of air that is very dangerous for gold. So gold needs to just blow this off and make new highs over here. All right, so just watch that. If it does not happen, close the longs and sit back. You'll get a chance to buy gold back underneath 1,300. Okay, but if it does go, so it goes. So you're going to ride this. If you're in the long, you ride it through here. You're watching, and then we're going to go down into a 60 level and see where that level of demand is. That is going to be our line in the sand. That we cannot allow that level to break. If it does, it's just exit the long and that's it. It's over. it's not gonna break out. I mean, the next target to the upside is like 1350, right? But it's got to take out the highs. If it doesn't, you're talking about losing $50 in gold. 1280 all the way back down to 1280. So there's the level basically. It looks like we've hit one on Friday on the 60 chart over here. The doji, it created a beautiful push out. So that level's not fresh anymore. Right? This thing over here, it did make a high, strong move away. I actually tweeted us. This level was the tweet on Friday for the long. I hope some of you took it. $8, $9 move out of the zone. And we're up to the top of that thing. This is the double top that we have to break. We have to get through here, which means if we look at the chart over here, the 60 zone is going to turn into a rally base rally. Okay, and this is the zone that we're not going to allow to break, which means if you're long, okay, you're going to put your stop somewhere over here. From underneath, you're in the long from down here, which you should have been from the level that I kept on talking about. And if you are, or you took even this zone on Friday, when this breaks to the upside, put your stop, below this zone. You don't want this zone breaking anymore, because if it does, that means the top is going to hold. But if the top holds, we're going to end up at least here, but more likely here. Okay, and that's just ways away. Okay, and no reason to give all that money back. So be very careful with the long goals this week. If we break out of here, forget about everything I just mentioned. We're looking for 1350. If we don't, you know what to do now, okay? The dollar had a seesaw week, right? Rallying in the beginning of the week and then ugly reversal on Friday off the new highs and a massive sell-off. We blow off the top, sell-off. We're coming back into a level of demand right over here, likely to get hit, and that's going to tell us what the story is with the dollar. What's the dollar doing? Is it just going to react off this zone that we haven't been to in a while, and it's going to create a higher low and then break the top? That's one possibility. The other possibility is that we're looking at a potential head and shoulders over here. And we're not going to know until we get down into this 96 zone. It's a level that's sitting over here. What's going to be. Because if we push back down into here, then we are open to potentially this. We don't know just yet. We should expect currently that there is no supply, there's no demand over here just yet. I can see it over here on the smaller time frame. On this 240 chart, we should see a test of this zone. This little doji level underneath us over here, that was the breakout of this little bottom pattern that we had over here. That should get tested off of this reaction of this crazy reversal candle on Friday. So if that happens, we'll see what the story is. So for now, expect dollar shorts to continue until we get here, and then we'll have to figure out what the story is. Okay, that means we should consider that the other currencies are still going to rally a little bit more. Okay, and they're going to come into their zone. Same idea. The euro does break down below the lows, but then it gets rejected immediately. This is a key reversal candle on Friday. Right, this was a big rally, and then what looked like we opened here, sold off, break the lows. Right, and then immediately gets rejected. Here's the new low. The low gets rejected, and now we've broken below the lows and closed at the highs. That's a massive rejection on a daily chart, and therefore you should expect the continuation back over here into the supply around 1400 and change, and then again what the story will be. If that level starts turning over again, so that's all it was, just blowing off some steam, some demand from levels that we haven't traded into in a while, and then we'll roll over and die. We'll go back down over here. But if the level breaks, rally base rally brings us all the way back to 15, 16. So, we don't know just yet what's going to happen. Expect this level to get tested, and then we'll figure out what's going to happen. This might happen in 1 day, 2 days, something like that. Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we should be up here, and then we'll need to make a decision about what's going to happen. So for now, look for longs on the euro up into 14 plus, okay, somewhere over here, and then we'll have to figure out what the story is. There it is on the 60. You could see the new lows that were being formed over here, right off the lows, and then we shoot right out of there, break the top of this thing, little lagging pattern. We break through the top, and we're sitting on supply. There's some more supply up here. So I think we're going to probably break through this zone, and then we'll see as we get closer to 14 that, then it'll start to react a little bit. If you wanted to try part of the longs, you know, it's possible at this point if we pull back and hold the breakout that we start going back this way. You may get like almost 1,300 back to 1,400 out of that trade. So that's something that might want to consider. The trend on the 15 is already flipped up. The 60 is not up yet, but the 15 definitely is up. And if it holds the breakout level right over here, so then you're likely to get a decent bounce out of that and put some money in your pocket there on a shorter term trade. And then once you get up to the 14 level, then you're in the daily supply again, and then you have to respect that level. Close the long over there. Continue. Aussie dollar. Okay. So Aussie, I talked about last week, the potential for the head and shoulders forming over here on the daily chart. It looks like it's trying to do that. We do get a little, Harami candle. Even though we broke the low, we come back inside on the weekly. You can see the bottom formed over here, and then we get the higher low, and now we get a little higher. We should break through here, and there's a level I've identified. I think somewhere around 7,200. I'll show it to you in a minute. 7,180, 7,200, basically right over here someplace. That I'm expecting to do this, and then break down under here and aim here. All right, so we should see a little bit more strength in Aussie dollar, which makes sense with our dollar analysis at this point, and then a rollover like this. Looks a lot like the gold chart, right? If the gold starts rolling over into the air, the Aussie dollars, we know that's going to get affected and do the same thing. So, not boding too well for the long golds at the top up there. All right, got to pay attention to that. As far as you want to be long for now, it looks like there's a little bit more room to the upside over here, and there's the trend line on the downtrend. Over here, it's coming in like 7160. That's like somewhere over here, but I think there's a level. There should be a level somewhere over here if we look on a lower time frame. There should be something somewhere around 7180. It looks like, and that would give us that left shoulder that corresponds on the daily chart. Let's go see if we can see something inside this big 60 candle here. Pretty sure it's there. Let's see. There's the 15 chart, and there it is, 7180 to 7187. Let's look at the zone. Yes, sir. There's the supply. Drop, base drop. Let's see what the other side looks like. Okay, and yes, there's the demand. Oh, wow, absolutely. Okay, so that's the zone that we're looking for. If we're going to take the shorts, that's the one that needs to, turn price back over and get us going. It happens to be that the trend line is actually sitting right there, too. Sitting right inside the zone, 7187 cross right there. Where's current price? Let's see, yeah. Wow. Damn, that's fucking perfect. If we break up over here, now we're going to hit boom, and then we're going to hit the trend line. That's it. That's the place where price should sell off. Okay, so keep your eye on that level right there, and potentially a massive trade, because if this is the, calling the top over here on this, that's the shoulder on the daily chart for our head and shoulders. That could be three. How much was it? Down to past 7,000. I thought. Right, let me go look at it again. Oops, sorry about that. Go back to the daily chart for a second, because the target on the downside of this sucker, yeah, it's beyond 7,000. I mean, 7180, that's this thing over here that we just talked about, just really right opposite the shoulder on the other side, right? And then we turn over, we're talking about 6,900. 7,200, 6,900, that's 300. That's a lot of money. Okay. Very nice looking trade. All right, let's continue. Pounds. Big and nice engulfing candle on Friday, but at the end of the day, we're still looking at this pullback rejection of the breakout of the highs. If you look at the 240 chart, it's very clear that we've got a really strong downtrend going over here. Every time we come anywhere near the line, we make new lows. So we did close above it over here, but that's not the first time we got above. The 50 average is also right there. I think we're going to start selling off again out of here. There isn't really that much demand under here. On the weekly, this looks like potentially a failed hammer coming, so could get really ugly for pounds this week. Is there a little more room? Yeah, because we're saying the dollar still has a little bit of weakness. Dollar still has a little bit of weakness right now. So there's a little bit more room to the upside. But after that, it looks like, we're in trouble over here. So maybe we sell off out of something over here, one of these. This one's fresh. This one's not fresh. This one is absolutely fresh. This is the one I've been waiting for weeks. Hasn't gotten there just yet. But the pounds are looking like, another sell-off should be coming soon. All right, so for now, a little bit of strength again because of the way we mentioned for a day or two on the dollar till it set demand. But after that, look for a retracement of this big rally that started on Friday. Okay. Canadian. Looks a lot like the Aussie dollar. Look at this head and shoulders that's sitting over here. So another, push up somewhere into this level, something over here. And then look at the air. Holy cow. Okay. So we pushed up into weekly supply. We get an ugly rejection base over here. If this doesn't get out of this and make a new high, maybe we get another base or so because it looks like there's some more candles in here. There's only a few on this side, and maybe we have another, week or two or so of basing, and then we get the sell-off. But this is what we should see here. So maybe this is the supply zone that does it up here, 240. All right, let's go see. A little smaller time frame says. Okay, we're at supply. There's a couple of levels over here. Looks like we traded through this thing. Just on the end of the session on Friday, we closed just above the level. Yeah, this level is this. There's a nice tight doji over here. This is sort of level on level over here, but it's close to the side. This is what I really like. If it should get there, I don't know. We'll see. But, if it just continues straight up into that zone, absolutely sell. Absolutely. Other than that, it's likely to turn over before it even gets there at this point. And, again, we're just looking for something slightly higher, all right, on the daily chart. So maybe it's this zone right over here. We said that we get up into this thing. And then that's, create that shoulder on the chart, the right shoulder, and then start to sell off into that huge air pocket underneath us on the daily chart. So 76.1 something in a row. Does that make sense on the daily chart? 76.1 something? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely makes sense. That's like right here. Bingo. It's likely that the 200 average will be right there by the time we get there. So yeah, absolutely. That's the level, 76.1 something or other. Puts on the right shoulder and then bang, massive sell-off. Very nice. There's some really nice setups this week. Okay. Yen. So the sell-off started, I think, 2 weeks ago when I called for that. After this candle. Now we're getting the continuation, looking really nice. If we take a look at the daily chart, you can see we've had a supply zone created over here. We landed inside the last demand zone. We end up breaking down out of it, put twins on because we got some resistance on the 200 average over there. But then we're back into the doji and we get an inverted hammer over here on the daily. And I think based on what I'm going to show you on some of the other time frames that this little rally off the lows is over. We're going to turn back over and we're getting back down to this thing, under 9,000. Let me take a look here. I'll show you what I mean. There we go. Take a look. See, it's clear on the 15. On the 60, you can see it as well. It'll be clearer on the 15. There's the first supply zone. It pushes down, gets over there, and then we pull into this little demand, rally-based rally, and now we've flagged out over here, and now we're looking at all this air underneath us. We should be seeing this thing collapse, taking out the lows. Okay. You can see it on the 50. It's pretty clear. There's just way too much air under here. We have a nice little double top, and we push down. Looks like into some demand over here, and then we create lower highs. Right, so over here we got a little wedge again. Friday, late Friday. I don't put a lot of weight on any of those candles. It's nonsense going on. But the bottom line is that we've got double top, lower high, and all this freaking air sitting underneath us. This level is gone. We're going to do this. Okay, so looks really nice on the short side here for yen. Nat gas, swing long ASAP. Okay, swing long ASAP. We get the doji over here. The bottom holds. Get a double bottom. There's the middle. Huge rally coming. Engulfing candle on Friday. Holds the demand zone. There's no more of the supply in here. That's gone. First supply zone, 2.9. Target 2.9. Trading at 2.6. We're talking about 300 plus up for nat gas. Okay. So start the longs on the first pullback into demand. Okay, so nice looking supply a little bit above us over here. We'll have to see what happens on the open. Should we gap through this level and open somewhere over here, put an order to buy this demand. This is going to become demand. That's what I'm going to do. Buy the longs over here. It looks like the rally is already starting, and there's a target of 2.9. Okay, so a big rally for nat gas this week. Copper. Call for the longs, doing pretty well. We did the breakout of the flag over here, and then we came back into the demand envelope. See this? And boom, we're holding the zone, we're holding the level, we're around to rally. Looks like we have a nice little hold of the zone. Shooting out, we should see new highs over here. It's going to get us back potentially through the supply zone over here on the weekly chart for copper. So longs, buying pullbacks in demand on copper. Okay, target's 2.9 as well at this point. Okay, there's supply over here. Looks like we're flagging around, and we're likely to break out of here, in which case this will become a demand zone that we'd like to buy. Okay, well, you want to try this. This is a really nice doji level over here on the 15 chart as well. Okay, so copper longs, target 2.9. Soy. So we're still in this long that's been going on for, 2 weeks or so. I'm holding this thing. And it's still flagging around over here. And after this ugly reversal, right over here, right, big morning star candle, we don't get the continuation. Instead, we get a harami, actually bullish harami. So, it keeps pulling back, but it doesn't want to break down. It's holding the bottoms. And therefore, I think what we're seeing over here, you notice the golden cross that happened like a couple of days back, last week or so. And then we fell off. We just tested 200. We're testing this little trend line over here again. And price is holding. This is going to break out to the upside. I know it sounds nuts, but that's what it looks like to me. Just keep on shaking out the longs, trying to get you out of the trade before it freaking explodes. And this looks to me like it's ready to rally out of this sucker. Okay, there's a little bit of supply over here that maybe we want to clear before we start getting longs. It will probably create a demand zone. It looks like we tried to get up into it Friday. Again, the lows immediately rejected. There's a V-bottom right over here, right? So, yeah, we get up here. There'll be some demand someplace over here that you can use probably around 910. So maybe we call for 914 and then buy 910 and look for the rally out of the top. Swing long soy still. And on the bond situation, we're looking at the longs over here again. So we had a nice breakout, hit the supply, pull back higher low. Now we're ready to go back into the zone. We had a pretty seesaw week over here, selling off a couple of days. The demand holds, takes us right back to the top. This level's getting chewed on over here. Looks to me, there it is. There's the supply is sitting up here. You can see it. A little wedge going on. And this has got higher lows. There we go. First low here. Here's the higher low. Right? And now we came back again over here on a smaller time frame. This is also a higher low. And therefore, we should break out of the top of this thing and put us back up into 149. So, you don't want to buy pullbacks on the bonds into 149 as a target again. So, yeah, it looks like it just hit a beautiful demand zone on Friday. Look at that. Nice start, a nice rally. There it is. Right there. Drops off, holds demand. Now we're shooting against here. Should see a push out of this to the top side. All right, so long bonds pullbacks into demand into 149. 49. Okay, but the trade of the week seems to be for me, I would think, the equity shorts that are going to start. Okay, so start thinking about potentially, buying puts on some of the ETFs for the equities. That's what I'm going to start looking at starting tomorrow. And again, if you know anyone that's interested in potential mentoring, have them reach out to me. Starting the interviews probably sometime this week. All the best and take care. Bye.